ladies and gentlemen, oh my gosh, human beings out there from all around the world, welcome to this next interview with Dhylles Victoria. We're going to be diving in for you, the spiritual seeker, to self-identify, to self-empower, to give yourself more clarity and give yourself guidance to take those next steps, to be just fulfilled in everything that you do, to be your greatest possible self. Stick around in this interview because Dhylles is going to bring the fire, the enlightenment, the practical steps, just channeling to help you become your GPS. So stick around. Before we dive into the interview, I'm talking to you because you're becoming your greatest, the greatest possible self that you can be. How do I know? Because you're here. You're here with us and you're listening to this interview. Otherwise, I mean, you could be receiving this message through time and space and you're not actually tuned in physically, but that's another conversation. Or maybe we'll get into it in this conversation. Who knows? But because you're physically listening to this, I acknowledge you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to become your greatest possible self. And everything that you're doing, showing up, taking action, being inspired, doing your daily disciplines, having your spiritual baths, all the things, keep doing it. Keep showing up. Keep taking those steps, okay? It matters. It makes a difference. And every step counts. I love you. Thank you for being here. Next up is going to be our iTunes review of the week. And this week it's by Anthony C., who says, amazing podcast. Chris Burns, this podcast has uplifted my soul with your high energy, passion, and powerful episodes. I recommend anyone that wants to become a better version of themselves to subscribe to this podcast. One of the best self-help podcasts of 2017. Anthony C., thank you so much for dropping us that fire review in 2017, all the way back when we were just getting started. And for everyone who's still tuning in, thank you. Thank you for being on the journey. I appreciate you. I don't know how we made it to this point, but shoot, we're going to keep on going because we're just getting started. We're becoming our greatest possible selves together. So thank you for being here. And if you want a chance to get shouted out on a future 12-hour live stream, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on the Apple Podcast Store and give us a review. All right. Let's get to the dang thing. Let's get to the main course of the hour. Ms. Dhylles Victoria, before we dive into this, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes. This is going to be fire. And who knows, one of these ideas, one of the things that we talk about could change your destiny. So stick around all the way through to the end. Make sure you complete this interview because it is going to be the bee's knees. Let's introduce Dhylles. After a near-death experience 8 years ago, Dhylles' life was never the same, and something spiritually shifted in her that was powerful and unexplainable. She evolved into a spiritual being having a human experience who was able to see, feel, and hear and know spirit on a deeper level beyond her own understanding. Dhylles' gifts and talents to tap into the energy and spirit of whom she encountered were developed on such a powerful level and is being used to serve humanity in an authentic way. Dhylles made a conscious decision after several years of spiritual experiences to step into her spiritual birthright and honor her ancestors who revealed themselves to her along with Dhylles' spiritual mother, Isis. She is a portal between the physical and spiritual world who gives guidance and mentorship to spiritual seekers who are seeking truth and a desire to understand more about who they are, why they are here, and what is their contribution to humanity. And all of that bio is just barely scratching the surface of how deep this woman goes. Dhylles, are you ready to bring the fire? I know you are. We're bringing it. It's already been brought in. It's done. It is done.
All the time, Chris Burns. What's up, my brother? Always here to bring the fire with you every single time. Our brother, sister, sibling chemistry is on fire always. So let's get it.
Burning it up, Dhylles. We're burning it up, and we're going to keep burning it up throughout this entire interview. Let's just go. Let's go deep. Soul communications, Dhylles. What does that mean to you?
That means being able to be in tune with your higher self, mind, heart, spirit, body, and being able to be so much at peace and know joy and know happiness and know success on a spiritual level where you can actually feel it emotionally, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, and physically.
Tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Let's go. We are lit, Dhylles. Okay, so let's
always
talk
work.
about this work that you're doing today, helping spiritual seekers. You have products that you're creating. Tell us about what you want our audience to know about you. You've been on the marathon before. You brought the heat, but for people who are just connecting with you for the first time, why don't you share a little bit more about the work that you do and what you stand for today?
Absolutely, as an oracle who is a portal between physical world and spiritual world, what I do is I'm able to connect with my ancestors, my angels, Mother Isis, and other beings that are in the afterlife to give messages to their loved ones. And sometimes it depends on what the person's going through. Like some of my clients, they're like, "Well, I could only imagine what my mom is doing or what my dad is doing, what my grandparents are doing." And I'm able to tap into grandma and grandpa and give that message to them where they have that form of peace within themselves, where they don't have to worry anymore. It
Uh,
alleviates stress. And then with the products that I do, the spiritual strengthening products, the tea baths, the soap bars, all that stuff, it strengthens you spiritually. So when you're going through obstacles and struggles and challenges, you don't go to the negative anymore. You're so at peace and calm with yourself. You're so
mm,
fully protected by spirit that you no longer have to have those ruminating thoughts in your mind because
mm,
now you're in a space of power. You're in a
yeah.
space of greatness.
Mm, I think that doubt is like one of the biggest thieves of
Ooh.
presence, of joy, of like
Mhm.
the opposite of that I would say is faith. And faith is such
Yeah.
a powerful creator, catalyst, nutrient for our
Mhm.
greatest possible selves. And I see that you are bringing faith. You're eliminating doubt for people who
Yes.
who might be
Mhm.
struggling, who might be questioning, who might be confused, who might be lost, and being that
Yeah.
source of guidance and confirmation and completion to whatever it is that they might be like suffering with or incomplete about.
Yeah. Also, it's based on fear, guilt, and shame because a lot of people have been through traumatic experiences growing up. I know
Mm,
I've experienced sexual abuse growing up, and that actually just turns me into a person that was so fearful and felt guilty all the time. I was a people pleaser. And what I do with my clients, with the spiritual seekers, is I teach them how to release all of those things from themselves,
wow.
release those identities that no longer serve them, release the identities that are holding them captive within themselves so that they can't move forward
Mm,
by helping them identify who it is. Maybe it could be for me, it was the little Dhylles, the little Vicky, which was my nickname growing up. She was the one that was a people pleaser. She was the one that was holding on to the trauma. She was the one
wow.
that wanted to keep the suicidal thoughts.
Mm,
So I had to release her and send her off with love and light. And that's what I teach my clients, how to send those identities of themselves with
mm,
love and light so they can step into who they're supposed to be, who they were born to be. And that way they're able to just go deep
mm,
and seek truth,
yeah,
speak their truth and set themselves free. And then on top of that, to identify, I help them identify what their gifts are,
yep,
their spiritual gifts are, so that they can actually create a blueprint of what that looks like so they can go out and serve humanity. But before they are able to serve humanity, they have to learn how to serve themselves.
mm, mm. Mm, those bringing the fire, the fire, the fire. Okay, so I love this, and I know you have a background in like media and PR. I'm curious. I want to
Mhm.
bridge that gap for people.
Sure.
What do you feel like that? Why was that a precursor to this work that you're doing today, being an oracle, ancestral advocate, helping spiritual seekers? What did you learn there that was essential for you to get to where we are today?
What I learned is the way to reach people is through media, but
Mm,
also through copy and content. With copy and
mm,
content, I'm able to pretty much describe, give them like an effective, amazing, powerful way to connect with me where it resonates with them and their spirit led to me because I'm sharing my experiences. And
mm,
we both know when you're doing lives on Facebook or you're doing interviews, you're sharing your stories. So
yeah.
you are your brand, you are
Yep.
your advocate. So media and PR actually helped me just bridge the gap between the people who were seeking me, who I was seeking as well through
Mm,
Facebook Lives, through Instagram, through doing things like this,
yep.
and just creating what that is and being able to, create the pain points.
Mm,
So they know, okay, this girl understands exactly what the hell I'm experiencing at the moment. This girl knows that I see spirits and I don't know what the hell to say to the spirit, how to speak to the spirit. Like this girl knows like what it is to burn
wow.
candles and what's the reason for the candles. This
Wow.
girl can give me a reading and help me with this major life-changing decision.
Wow.
So when I'm doing Facebook lives and I'm
Mm,
reading the cards or I'm speaking about my life or how, Goddess Mother Isis revealed herself to me, how I work with her. It gives them an opportunity to feel my energy, because I know my energy is strong, but it also, when I do Facebook Lives, I can actually tap into other people's energy across the screen.
Mm,
So that's what media and PR and social media did for me. And that's how I bridge
bam.
graphic. Yeah.
Bam, bam. I love it. I think it's beautiful that you were able to create the communication ability to find the words, the
Yes.
psychological process of how do I actually influence? How do I actually,
Hmm.
deliver my gifts and my purpose, and from that, and like, achieve my intention. Persuade, right? Persuasion can be
Yes.
used for negative or,
More
unserving,
positive.
disempowering things. It can also be
Hmm.
used to alleviate pain, to serve people, to help them take those steps to become their greatest possible self. And I think you learned how to do it in an empowering way early on with
Yeah.
media. And now you're saying, okay, now that I have this foundation of like the human experience as far as marketing, how do I
Yeah.
bridge that gap with the spirituality and this awakening that I've gotten a whole
Hmm.
new language that I know people are struggling with. They're struggling with their powers, struggling with their gifts, struggling with, waking
Hmm.
up and all that comes with that, as well as frustrations of being able to communicate themselves, frustrations with
Yeah.
not having a life of ease, frustration with feeling disconnection, anxiety, stress, like all these emotions
Yes.
that comes with being a human being. And now you're able to like really meet them in both worlds and solve like some massive problems.
Absolutely. And I think the other part about it is too, a lot of people are conditioned. We're conditioned growing up that we were supposed to pray this way, and
Mm,
you don't go to the psychic, you
mm,
don't go to the card reader, you don't do this. And then a lot of people now are afraid to kind of like honor their belief system, because their beliefs are changing. They're outgrowing
wow.
whatever it is that they were taught when they were younger.
Yeah.
And so that's a fear that they have. It's guilt and there's fear, because they feel as if though, okay, I was taught to serve God.
Mm,
So I can't be going to her because she's an oracle and yada, 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 blah, 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 blah.
mm,
However, at the
wow.
same time, like I
Mm,
explained to people, it's like corporate America. You have the CEO, you have the executive, you have
mhm,
the administrator.
mhm.
There's God, there's the angels, there's the archangels, there's the ancestors, and then there's me. There's the healer. So the healer is the one that's
I
listening,
love it.
but God,
Yeah.
if everybody else, and
Yeah.
then ancestors and angels and Mother Isis and everything is giving me messages to give to you. I can hear and feel her. You
Mm.
can't.
I want to touch on this because I think there is a mindset, there is a culture that says conduits, prophets,
Yeah,
right? Like
absolutely.
of spirituality, that was
Mhm.
almost seen as impossible. Like, oh, if you see something like that, be hesitant, be skeptical, be wary, because whatever, like it might be quote unquote imposter. And I think today
Right.
so many people are freaking woke as hell and like connecting to these
Mhm.
dimensions, higher consciousness, being
Mhm.
channels, being an oracle, like different things like that. It's like, man,
Absolutely.
God uses people in so many different ways, right? To deliver the message, to
Absolutely.
get the point across, to help people get through, heal whatever they're going through. And I think it's such a
Mhm.
beautiful time that we're living in, because you're here as the what is the word I'm looking for, the not the doula, but like
Yeah,
helping people birth themselves, so to speak, into their spiritual
absolutely.
evolution, the midwife, so to speak,
Absolutely.
of spirituality.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a such thing as spiritual worth. Knowing
Mm,
your worth, knowing that you're so important, that God is giving you amazing gifts within yourself to tap into, knowing your spiritual worth.
mm, wow,
That's such a thing, and I tell my spiritual seekers that all the time. Like,
mm,
you are not doing a disservice to God or yourself by seeking other people to go to, be it me or another oracle or
mm,
whoever. Like, I have a whole bunch of community of spiritual sisters. We all do different things. However, we are so tapped in.
mm,
We're so tapped in, and my mission is to help people find their truth, and also figure out who they are, why they're here,
yeah.
why you here. And once you start questioning why you're here, once you start questioning and reflecting back on your life and the things you've done and wanting to do better in your life,
Mhm.
that's when you start to become a seeker, because at that point, a lot of things that you've been through, you have all these experiences that you've been through in your life, and you're questioning them, and you're trying to figure out, okay, like, why did this happen to me?
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know maybe I should have did this, or I should have went this way, or whatever the case may be. You start questioning. When you start questioning,
Sure.
that's when you start becoming a seeker.
Yeah. And it's the curiosity, right? Like a seeker is
Mhm.
someone who's like, all right, this mold, this box I've been living in, it is some BS. You know, and there might be some good things,
Yes,
there might be some truths, there might be some, you know, goodness in there, but it's not the picture. It's not the whole picture. Something is missing. And I think a lot of people can
yes,
feel that. They feel like
yes,
it's almost like a knowing that there's greatness inside of them, and it's like
yes.
this is
And
just a
there's so much
fraction.
more.
Yeah, it's just a fraction of what we're experiencing. So I love that you dove into that as far as like being a seeker. What is that conversation about being a seeker? Why did that become important for you to be able to help people with that, Dillis?
To be honest with you, when I found out that my target audience is a spiritual seeker through my friend, and you've already had her on the show, Altonese Nicole. She came
Yes.
to me one day and she was like, Billy, who's your target audience? I'm like, people, spiritualists, stuff like that. And she said, well, in my spirit, I believe you're supposed to be teaching and guiding and mentoring spiritual seekers. And I had to Google it. And I'm like, oh my God, like those are my people. Lord have mercy. And to me, a spiritual seeker is someone that's always looking for a deeper meaning,
Hmm.
and they have very good intentions, but they don't know where to start the process of finding out what is spirituality to them. They are
Hmm.
having a hard time figuring out how to define spirituality
Yeah.
within themselves.
Yeah.
And spiritual seekers are those who may have gone through so many tumultuous experiences in their lives, but their heart is still good. They
Hmm.
still want to help people. They did not allow those hardships or struggles or abuse to make them feel bitter.
Hmm.
They're the ones that's always reaching out, trying to help other human beings. Even
Hmm.
though they've been hurt, they still have the heart of compassion. They still want to help the world. They still want to have an impact on this world
Yeah.
through who they are as people.
Hmm.
So those are the kinds of people I work with, but they're the people that still are suffering in silence in a sense because they don't know how to start their healing process.
Hmm. I want to dive into this awakening and communicating with Mother Isis. What is that? Okay, for the unenlightened
Oh,
out there, why don't you take us through what is that? What does that mean? What is the entity that you're connecting with? Like, tell us more.
mhm. Okay, so Mother Isis, I was so obsessed with Egyptian um, mythology, philosophy, all that stuff. And Isis came about when I was in my 20s, and I didn't realize it because my mom had wallpaper of Isis all over the room. And I was so fascinated with this energy. And I was just like, who is this person? And so when I turned 40, I had shifted in my life, came out all that stuff there, and I was renting a room in the Bronx in New York with this older woman. She's a beautiful woman. And when I entered the bedroom, there was a portrait of Isis above the bed, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Isis! That's so cute." So unaware. So
Wow.
then when I came to Savannah, and I started my spiritual birthright in my walk. One of my sister friends, she was like, "Oh, maybe you might want to connect with the goddess Oshun," and I was like, "Okay." So I went to a mystical store, whatever, and they didn't have no candles of Oshun. And I came back and I was scrolling on Amazon looking for more tarot cards, and then Isis popped up, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Holy shit!"
It's a sign.
Yes. So then my wife came through the door and I was like, honey, Isis. She was like, duh, you talk about her like all day. And then I started doing so much, right? I did started doing research on her, and she was the protector of women and children. She was the healer. She taught women how to like stand up for themselves. She is the goddess that helps mother and daughter connect. She's the one
Wow.
that if you have any issues and problems with your mother, she connects you. And so she came into my
Hmm.
space and I felt her energy and I felt this motherly love, this nurturing love that I've never felt before. It was so intense in my heart space that I was crying. And I was like, Mother Isis, thank you so much for protecting me and being here for me. And then when I look back at pictures from 2017 and I looked at the picture, I took a selfie. And in the back of the selfie, her portrait was up there. And she was saying to me, like, I've always had you. I've always
Wow.
groomed you. I've always protected you. I've always been your spiritual mother. And I felt it like deep in my heart. And the thing about this too, the beautiful thing about what I do is
Yeah.
I'm able to identify other people's spiritual mothers for them and to help them connect with the spiritual mothers. And they tell me like after you've done that to me, when I connect with my spiritual mother, my life has changed so
Wow.
drastically. It's a powerful thing when you're able to connect with source, with spirit, with energy, with those who have been assigned to you in
Mm,
this lifetime, the next
mm.
lifetime, the next lifetime. So that's what Mother Isis has done for me.
Wow. What is there a difference between spiritual mother and spiritual father? Like is there gender
Yeah,
differences? Does it
there's a
matter for men or for
well,
women?
with Mother Isis, and I think with all of the energies, they both have masculine and feminine
Sure.
energy in one.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like I can step into my masculine energy as well as my female energy depending on the situation of how strong I have to be. Should I be strong in my masculine energy or strong in
Mm.
my feminine energy when it comes to working with spirit and working with clients?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there
So
are masculinities. There's Osiris, there's Horus in Egyptian mythology,
uh
other mythology or other cultures or practices. There's Ogun, there is Babalao. There's so many different ones,
wow.
so many different ones.
Mm.
But I connect with her because of just the experiences she's experienced. Like I've been through the same path, so
Mm.
it's like an understanding. There's so many similarities between me and her.
Yeah. I think that's for me personally. I've been curious about like who is it that I resonate with. You know, what is the entity? What is the being, the God, whatever it might be that I resonate with, the
Mhm,
guide, angel, whatever it might
mhm.
be. And so for people who are curious about that, they can definitely work one on one with you. They can get that guidance. Is there
Absolutely.
anything else you'd
Absolutely.
recommend as far as being more aware or listening to intuition or listening to those kinds of nudges that you had been getting to be able to discover that for themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. Pay attention to the little intricate, spiritual, magical, powerful experiences that you may have had over the course of your life.
Mm,
Who was it that would pop up into your spirit? Like some people would say Archangel Michael will pop into their spirit.
mm,
That's your archangel. You know, some people would be drawn to like Greek mythology. So maybe Athena may be your spiritual mother, like, whoever else, Venus. You
mm,
just don't. So tap into those things. Like if there's anything that you're fascinated with that you know that's normally not you,
mm.
because Egyptian mythology, like my mom's from Belize and my father's from Haiti. Like what the hell am I doing in Egypt? You know what I'm saying? So the thing that you're drawn so much to,
Mm,
or the guide that you're drawn so much to, pay attention to those types of guides and do some research and find out why you're
mm,
connected to those people and why you're drawn to them.
mm,
Things like that. That's what I would say for people who are seeking or searching who their guides are. Like, even with the kind of music you listen to, why you listen
mm,
to that music? You know, why
mm.
why do you like candles? Or why do you like herbs? You know, there's some of the guides that were herbalists
Mm,
in their day.
mm.
So just try to find out which guides are herbalists back in the day and just do your research, I would say. Or you can connect with me and I'll help you find it in 2.5 seconds.
I love it. I love it. One thing I found for me is I resonate a lot with like Nikola Tesla and his
Mhm.
like mindset and technology, innovation, things like that.
Yes.
I'm curious, does it matter what time period they're
No,
from? Can it be
there's
like
no,
more of a
no.
spiritual entity or a physical person that existed as well?
Yeah. It could be Nostradamus. It could be anywhere. Like even with ancestors, I'm an ancestral advocate. And I posted something earlier about Martin Luther King being an ancestor and where
Mm,
I stand on his shoulders because him speaking truth and who he was as a person that resonates with me because I'm a powerful leader, just like he was a powerful leader.
yeah.
And my ancestors, both from Belize and from Haiti, I stand on their shoulders as well because
No.
they endured so much when they were alive and they created such a legacy for us to just show up and show out and walk in our truth and our purpose and
Mm,
represent them, who they are. Just like have you have your ancestors who've passed on. They left a legacy of greatness within your DNA and your blood. It runs
mm,
through your veins. And that's why you're able to be who you are and do the things that you do. We all
mm,
have that ability to do so within us. We're tapped in that way.
mm, mm. I love it. What are some other signs or things that we should be looking for to know if we are spiritual seekers, to self-identify? And is also as a kind of over level, higher level conversation? What's the benefit
Hmm.
to say I am a spiritual seeker or I am not a spiritual seeker, so to speak? Why would someone
So
say? Why would it be important for someone to identify that they are?
I think it's important for you to identify that you are, because the level of peace that you experience as a seeker, the level
Mm,
of joy you experience as a seeker, the way that you're able to learn about self love and forgiveness on a different level, where you will alleviate so much worry and stress and anxiety and depression and all these ailments that you're dealing with once you become a spiritual seeker. Because at that point in time, you will learn not to allow the everyday struggles and nuisances to get to you, because you will
yeah.
be in such a space where you're like, you know what? Angels got me, God got me. I don't need to worry about this, and everything will flow the way it's supposed to. And you'll learn how to confidently and powerfully trust the process of what's taking place in your life, where you don't have to
Mm,
control everything, where you learn to relinquish control, where you learn to just stand in your greatness and say, you know what? Today I'm having a bad day, but I'm not
mm,
going to allow what's taking place to kill my joy, if you will.
mm. Wow.
Or you'll
Still is
see things in a
I want to just like highlight this because what you're saying is like spot on for me. You know, it's like
yes.
it's great to say, "Hey, I'm a leader who wants to change the world," and that's
Mhm.
one aspect of it. But what you're saying, as far as like how much peace I've been able to create because
Yes,
of like committing to deepening my spiritual relationship, like the
absolutely.
trust, the patience, the peace that I experience.
Mhm.
I would say a lot of people are like, dude, you're so like easygoing a lot of the time. Like
Yes.
I can just have so much patience and looking at things, being able to not hold on to it, not like feel
Mhm.
resentment. I let things go,
Mhm.
like freaking that, like I think a lot of people want that. And I recognize because
Yes.
I'm sourced in spirit first. And this is all just a 3D, matrix, so to speak,
Yes.
illusion. And I just get to have fun in it. And
Mhm.
like whatever steals my joy,
Yeah,
like that is not what I'm here for. I'm here to enjoy the ride.
absolutely. And learning how to be present in every moment, because we can only live in the present. We can't live in the past. We can't live in the
Mm,
future. We can learn from the past and bring our abilities that are strong into from our past into the present.
yeah.
However, the present, you're creating your future with how you live in the present and how you show up.
Yep.
And why not do it in a space where you are in you're practicing gratitude every single day. You
Mm,
are walking in abundance and prosperity every single day, regardless if the car broke down, the creditors are calling me, I have medical debt. It
mm,
doesn't matter.
mm, mm,
Don't allow those things to steal your joy, if you will. So when you're a spiritual seeker and you're on that journey, you are so in tune with your spirit, you're so in tune with the guides, that none of that stuff is irrelevant to you.
mm,
It's not. You go to sleep better, you wake up better. Even on the days when you're frustrated,
yeah.
you still find joy, you still find reasons to be grateful.
Mm,
Grateful for the little things, because materialistic things, we have them, they're great. However, you're not going to take them with you into the afterlife.
mm,
But you
mm,
can take your peace and your joy and your happiness and love for self and love for humanity with you in the afterlife.
mm. Why did you start creating physical products and spiritually activated gifts to serve people with?
I was spirit led to do so. I started doing spiritual baths in 2018. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just know it just felt good. I wanted to sleep. And then when I just stepped into my spiritual birthright, I just heard you need to give people something for them to be balanced, for them to fall
Mm,
asleep, for them to just feel centered. And I just started creating products for people, like, oh, here, try this, and here, try that. And they would come back to me and say, what the hell did you put in that tea? Like, I slept all night. And then I have healing hands. So with my hands and my intention and my heart and speaking life over the products, because I don't only make the products, but I sage over them. I pray over them. I like intentionally say, God of my own understanding, angels and ancestors and guides of this said person who bought this product today. Let them feel peace. Let them feel joy. Give them abundance. Give them happiness. Give them financial freedom. Give them desires of their heart. And I ask my clients too, when they purchase something from me, what is it that you need me to pray for over this for you? What
Mm,
in your life do you need help with? And then I send it off to them with love and light. Everything I do is love and light. So when they receive it, the intention is there. It's activated. So they alleviate their stress and worries and they're able to manifest amazing things. And I've had clients tell me that they were able to connect with their mother, their grandmother, their grandfather while they did the bath. Like they smelled the scent of their parents or they felt the energy in the room.
yeah.
That's how strong the products are. And that's how I set it up to be that way. So it's pretty much just flowers from the earth, jasmine, patchouli, rose petals,
Mm,
peppermint, chamomile. There's also Epsom salt. Epsom salt is a good one.
yeah.
Sea salt, things of that nature.
Mm.
And I add an additional product, which is dragon's blood oil. And when I say dragon's blood, people are like, "What the hell? You went to kill a dragon? Like, what is that?" So it's a plant. I think it's a plant from Peru, and they turn it into an oil. And
Wow.
what it is for protection,
Mhm.
vanishing, and cleansing. So when you wear dragon's blood oil, any energy and entity does not belong in your space will not be able to touch you in any way, shape, or form. You know, people may be speaking negatively over you or sending you stuff that you don't deserve
Mm,
will bounce right back off. It'll bounce off of you. You're cleansed. Anything that you need to be banished will be banished. And then it's a great manifestational tool because you're so in tune with your higher self. You can ask for things that you want when you're
mm,
taking a bath or you're using the spiritual soap. Use it intentionally on a daily basis, or even with my teas. My teas help you sleep. People who have insomnia, they come to me, they be like, I haven't slept in years, girl. Like I need like 20 of those things. So that was my intention for making the product. So
yeah.
it's spiritually strengthening people in their lives, and it's also helping to alleviate things which no longer serves them, and it
Mm,
gives them an opportunity to just find the peace within themselves.
yeah. With the spiritual products, spiritual baths, even like malas and different things like that, bracelets.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different like products and services in the marketplace. No
Yes.
one does it like you do, Dhylles. And
Nope.
for someone who is tuning in the audience, how would
Mhm.
you say that you're different or special or unique from the other stuff that is out there? Like, why did you say I have to do this because these are my gifts and I do it a unique way? Like, what was it? What is it that's present for you when you're doing it?
What was present for me was, like I said, the peace that I felt from
Mm,
someone who came from so much chaos and someone who always had ruminating thoughts and self sabotaging behaviors in herself. I wanted people to feel the peace that I felt. I wanted people to be in tune with their higher selves. I wanted people to experience what it feels like to truly be around angels, to
mm,
truly be around their guides and know what that the presence feels like. I wanted them to feel that power, what that feels like, what that
mhm,
looks like to them. So they know that you can hope, you can have faith, you don't have to live in fear because these elements are helping you to just be one with self. I wanted people to feel that and I wanted people to stop suffering. I
mm,
stop suffering and I want people to stop suffering. That's why I create the things that I create
mm,
because I want them to be at peace. I want them to say, okay, you know what? My life is purpose. I have purpose in my life. I'm important. I'm worthy. And, I'm loved. And I want them to feel that they're loved because so many people are so disconnected and so detached in life. They're walking around existing and not living and not loving. And I want them
mm,
to feel loved and I want them to feel life, what that feels like. Because I always say, from someone who just had a near death experience, I don't want anyone to be on their deathbed the last 10 minutes of their life saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I didn't.
mm, mm,
So
mm,
it's my responsibility because I've already went there and I knew what it felt like to have no control over my body
mm.
and be on my deathbed saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I didn't. So I promised myself if I walked out the hospital room, my mission was to make sure that no one else experiences that everyone lives their life the way they choose to. They
Mm.
make their hearts smile, they make their spirit spark, and they were able to take leaps of faith and go beyond your own understanding when it comes to living their best life.
Mm. Mm. With getting spiritually activated, that like mission, what does
Mhm.
that mean? Is there an end to that process to who we can become?
Oh, For me, I always say I'm a student. I'm never a master and a teacher. There's
Mm,
always learning. There's always bounds of evolution.
mm,
There's always bounds of ascension. I'm always in an ascension mode. I always want to learn and I always want to grow. You're never gonna stop learning until the day you take your last breath. You could be
mm,
90 years old and still learning stuff.
mm.
So it's a never ending process, and healing is a never ending process. And healing is something that you should dedicate yourself to and discipline yourself with every single day. Just like when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, you take a
Mm.
shower. That's what healing is supposed to be like. That's what, being a spiritual seeker is about.
Tell me
It's
more about that, Dillis. I want to dive into that a
sure.
daily discipline of healing, because
Yes.
I think that might be easy to say. Well, once a week I have a coaching call. Once a week I do something that's nice for myself. Every
Hmm.
quarter I sit down and I unroot or uproot my limiting beliefs. But to shift it to a daily discipline, daily
Yes.
process, daily practice, I think that's
Mhm.
a really profound conversation. Tell us more.
So with that is you are setting intention that every single day you will celebrate yourself,
Mm,
you will forgive yourself, you will love yourself more and more each day. You will let go of fear. You will release things that don't serve you every single day of your life because things pop up all the time. And because, especially people who've been abused or been through traumatic experience, well, everybody's been through a traumatic experience. Depending on how long ago that traumatic experience it is, it's still embedded in your spirit, it's still
yep.
embedded in your DNA. So you've created this energy of stuff within your body, within your spirit. So you have to release it. And it's not only releasing it one time, two times, it's a lifetime of releasing it
Mm,
because you have not had the opportunity to let yourself be free of
mm,
that thing or those things. It's like people getting into a car crash that's still embedded in them.
mm.
So when you're driving in a car, you're anxious, you're nervous. It's like someone being in a domestic violence relationship. Even though you got out of it, you still have to go through the healing process because now you don't trust anyone. Even if they
Mm,
have good intentions and they say, I love you, you still don't believe it,
mm. So
you know?
with healing, there like a tipping point where it gets easier, where
Mhm.
there's more positive energy or more
Yes.
responsiveness, more power
Yeah.
over something than just being ran by it and controlled by it.
Yeah. Well, for me, the thing about the healing part of it is once you start the healing process,
Mm,
the beliefs in yourself will change. You will go from feeling unworthy to worthy and valuable. So when you
mm,
look at yourself in the mirror, the feeling that you get is powerful, strong, and magical because you no longer see the person looking back at you. You see a magnificent person. Before you would see
mm,
a person who is full of doubt and despair.
mm.
Now, when I look at Dhylles, I'm like, girl, you fly. You
Mm.
the ish. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when healing, it's looking at yourself with different eyes because you no longer see with these eyes, you're seeing with the third eye.
Mm,
And so
mm,
that helps you be more awake and you're able to see things in a different perspective. And
mm.
there's a shift that takes place. The mindset changes, the spiritual energy changes.
Mm.
And
What
so that's what it does.
what are some of those signs of being awakened with the third eye and seeing things from a higher perspective?
The signs of that is, say for instance, you're reading a book, you
Hmm.
read that book 500 times.
Hmm.
The next time, once you're awake and you see with your third, I read a book today, what is the book called again? I forgot the name of the dang book. Oh, the warrior of light. I read
Oh.
the warrior of light in 2018. My
Uh-huh.
One of my good friends, Iris, she gave it to me when I was moving to Savannah.
Hmm.
I read the book today and I'm like, damn, this book is stepping all over my toes. So me reading it 2018 to 2020, I'm a different person because
Yeah.
I've done the healing work. So I feel the words in the book differently as
Mm.
I did in 2018 because 2018 I was still kind of numb, if you
Mm.
will. So when you're going through the healing process,
Uh,
you're reading something different or you see something on TV different, or even when you are outside, like say you're going for a walk in nature, right? You just go for a walk in nature, you see the birds, you see the trees. However, when you're awakened, you
mm.
see more than a tree,
Mm.
you see more than a bird. You feel Mother Nature,
Mm.
you sense her, you feel her rubbing love, just throwing her arms around you. You lay in the grass. It's not just grass anymore. It's you being grounded with Mother Nature. You're connecting to the earth
Yeah.
and you're awake.
Mm.
It's not like you're going to a picnic and having a ham sandwich and you're just like, oh, it's nice and sunny out here today. No. It's
No.
completely different with your third eye is open. It's like, well, damn, I never noticed that before. I didn't notice that the trees turn different colors. I didn't notice
Mm.
that that bird it was over here, now it's over there. And I sense when the bird went this way.
Right. Or
You're
like if
sensing
you look at the sun and you're like it's moving across the sky, it's like breathing,
absolutely,
it's like it's
absolutely.
breathing, it's going through its own like life cycle
Yes,
every day, and just like a microcosm of human beings, and this like everything is alive, everything is an organism, versus seeing,
yes.
well, there's this bright light in the sky that is like, level
There you
one
go.
mechanics
There you
of
go.
what is happening,
Yes,
but like what is beneath that? What are the layers that are going on beneath that?
absolutely. Yes. So when you start seeing things that way and you
Mm,
start questioning things, then you're like,
mm,
well, damn, this is something different. Like this isn't. And then the other part about this too is you have an innate desire
mm,
for knowledge,
mm,
and you because what I did was recently I did a 30-day sugar fast, if you will.
mm.
Mother Isis told me you can't eat Skittles, you can't eat chocolate, you can't drink vanilla chai, you can't do this, and I was like, damn it!
Damn.
So from November till now, I haven't had chocolate, I haven't had Skittles at
Dang.
all. I don't
Dang.
even have the taste for it. And
Wow.
I'm a chocolate fanatic. Everywhere I turn around, oh my God, I need chocolate. And even when I do eat sweets, I eat very little now. Before I would overindulge in it.
Mm,
But I realized that the overindulging was stopping me from hearing clearly and
mm,
powerfully as I was hearing before.
mm,
So all of those little elements, when you start shifting and changing, you
mm.
don't just stop eating meat for any for any odd reason.
Right.
That's a spiritual thing.
Damn.
You
And
don't stop drinking soda.
it's interesting how it all happens too, because like last year I said I wasn't going to drink or smoke or do any drugs, right? Like no
Mhm.
anything, and I felt like, I did it because I want to gain discipline and I want to, grow myself, and I just wonder what kind of spiritual purification was happening in
Mhm.
that process, and like how it all happened, because everyone's on at a
Mhm.
different place on their journey and doing different things. And for me, I said I'm going to declare it, to my friends, family, loved ones, that I'm not
Absolutely.
going to consume any kind of external, mind altering substances,
Yep.
right? And so at
Mhm.
the beginning of this year, I knew I wanted to grow my relationship with my girlfriend, with Petya, right? With my queen,
Yes.
my goddess. And she's just so,
Yes.
so amazing. I love her. And I wrote that I don't want to masturbate to porn, because I felt like that was stealing from my connection with her, the
Absolutely.
intimacy, the energy that I get to
Yes.
invest into our relationship, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
man, I wonder, now that we're talking about it, like what spiritual intervention
That
happened to say,
was.
Chris, it's time to up level your, your
Mhm.
energy, your purification, how you show up, your devotion to this woman, and
Yes.
how do you actualize what you said you want, and how you want to relate to
Mhm.
this woman, and also the spiritual connection and awakening that
Absolutely.
happens in that process too. It's just like,
Yeah, it's mind blowing. And I think too, when you meet your twin flame, your soulmate, a lot of things shift and change within your life
yeah,
because her energy is intertwined with your energy,
yeah.
and her powerful way of being is actually enlightening you.
Oh
It's
yeah.
taking you so many different levels. And so when you meet somebody like that, you have to surrender to it.
Mm, mm,
You have to surrender to it. So her lights
yeah.
actually allowed you to just see things here with this eye.
Wow.
So in
Wow.
essence, she was a spiritual messenger coming to you
Yep.
from God of your own understanding so you can hear clearly and see clearly and feel on a different level so you can do the work that you need to do in your own healing.
Damn. Damn. I love it. I love it, because like
It's huge.
for me, it's like for years I felt like I didn't have any control over something like masturbation, right? I'm like, man, I just
Yeah,
feel, and it's, there's a time and a place for it. I think it's everyone's on their own journey and build your own relationship with it. But for me, I felt like it was numbing, it was avoiding, it was running, it was,
yes,
filled with
yes.
shame and like, man, like such a trigger, such a powerful trigger for me. And,
Mhm.
for her to come into my life and then to be the blessing that she is, and for me to say, I'm so freaking committed to this woman. Like every time I've tried to stop this toxic habit before, I felt powerless and I felt like I kept falling back into it. And now,
Yes.
because of how much she means to me and how much this relationship
Mhm.
means to me, and also I'm sure my own spiritual growth over the years,
Yes,
it's like now it's attainable. Now it's like at this new phase,
absolutely.
like I am enlightened enough, like my
Yes.
my eye is open enough to see that this is important. It's a higher priority. It's a higher value for me. So I'm going to do whatever the
Mhm.
heck it takes to eliminate the things that are toxic, that are disempowering, that lower my
Yeah.
frequency.
But also too, I think with that too, God of your own understanding knew that you were lonely, knew that your heart was seeking a mate.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he sent her your way because he saw that you were probably on a path of destruction. And he was like,
Mm,
no, you have
wow.
so much light within you. And I need to send you someone that's going to show you yourself and
Mm,
show you your light
wow.
and show you how powerful you are in a form of a woman. And she's going to give you that love that you so desire and need.
Mm,
And she's going to strengthen you on so many different levels beyond your own understanding. And she's going to gift you
mm,
love. She's going to gift you peace so you can continue to stand into your greatness and actually take the mask off
mm,
and be as vulnerable and emotional. So you grew emotionally, spiritually, mentally on so many different levels by just having that one beautiful spiritual being in your life.
wow. Wow. And,
That's
and
amazing.
she's one of the closest. And I know that people like you, like all these epic human beings who I'm around, like
Mhm.
everyone is reflections, just constant
Yes,
reminders, like God said, Chris, you are gonna fucking grow. Like
yes.
we are
Like
like
I'm
lighting
gonna
the fire.
force you. Yes, it's like I'm gonna push you and force your ass to grow every day. I'm gonna continue to put these people in your face. Just put them in your face.
Yup.
And trust me, I know what that is because and that's the other part of being a spiritual seeker when you start seeing things, even on Facebook, if you're scrolling, like say you went out
Mm,
and you prayed for something and then you hear a song with the thing that you were praying for, or someone on Facebook is talking about the thing that you were praying for, you're like,
mm.
oh shit, I just had that conversation yesterday. That's that's God of your understanding. Like, hi, I'm sending you a message. Are you listening now?
Yup. Yup. Yup.
So I always say, don't wait until something drastic happens for you to truly, truly walk in your greatness and just step into the presence. It doesn't
Mm,
have you don't have to see it for it to be tangible, but it is there.
mm,
It is there. I always tell people pray with trust and confidence and in real time right now, because all we have is right now.
mm.
Speak love, express yourself right now, this very moment, this very second, because you just don't know when your death date is. You just don't know.
And I think a lot of me especially, like I thought I was invulnerable, immortal, would never die. Like that. There was this kind of
Mhm,
illusion that I was selling to myself, saying that, oh, I'm different. And I
mhm.
think there's part of me, like the spiritual aspect of me, wants to transcend the human experience and like, what
Yes.
how would we do that? What is the formula for that? How could I shift my
Mhm.
beliefs, my DNA, activate whatever I know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm excited about that possibility of that conversation, but it's like having one foot in the spiritual world, in infinite possibility, and one
Yes,
foot in physical 3D. Like I literally could be
yes.
gone tomorrow. So like,
Yep,
how do I
absolutely.
live in both worlds and
And you
show
can.
up as my
I
best
do.
self?
I do it every day. I sit at my altar. I speak to my guides and my angels. There's times when I feel them around me. You know when you feel do you know when you feel angels and spirits around you, what that feels like?
I'm still learning. I'm still like,
So say for instance, you're in a room and a room is like room temperature, 75, 80 degrees, right?
yeah,
And all of a sudden you just get a chill down your spine,
mm,
your whole body from head to toe,
mm,
like for like 5 seconds instantaneously. That's energy around you. That's energy around you. I feel it all the time when I'm at the altar praying and asking for peace in the world and to take away bigotry and racism and prejudice. And I'm getting emotional and my whole body tingles, just goosebumps all over me. And I know that they're like, yes, we are going to honor your requests, that kind of way. Or I feel so much love in my heart to the point that I'm so emotional, I want to cry. That's them just wrapping their arms around me like, we love you, my child. We are here for you. We got you. You are protected. And you feel it. You feel it from head to toe. You feel it. That's how you know when angels and spirits are around you or energy around you. And you know the good from the bad, because the good, you feel an innate, protective, nurturing, emotional. Bad, you'll feel like kind of like an impending doom. You get some form of anxiety, like, oh, this don't feel right. Like your
Mm.
spidey senses will go off and just like, this person does not. This is not a good intention, energy or spirit. You'll know. You'll know the difference.
Mm. This is gold. This is gold. And I think we talked about this on a previous interview, but like there's different ways that our spirits and guides can communicate with us, right? Like there's all these
Yes.
different symbols and channels and things that they
Mhm.
can do, avenues, modalities that they can
Yes.
do to reach us, right?
Well, one way is through card reading, of course, Oracle and Tarot. I do card readings for myself every single day. And I would say, okay, Archangel Michael or Mother Isis, what is the lesson and the message today?
Mm.
And I'll flip the card. So whatever card pops out, I know that's the card for me to read. Sometimes I use the candles, depending on the candle. Like I would take a candle like this and I would say, I need your support and your love at this moment. So I'm invoking you to come into my space with love and light. And I would put the candle down. If the candle burns clear and it burns rapidly fast, like my candles burn in 1 day. A 7 day candle burns in 1 day for me. So
Damn.
that's my indication to know that they are honoring my request and they're working for me in the spiritual lab on my behalf.
Mm.
The
Wow.
other way is if the candle turns black, that means that there's a block, there's no good intention, something is taking place, or there's something that I need to pay attention to,
Mm.
things like that. So that's the type of different modalities that I use.
Yeah.
Or even my spiritual baths. I remember one time someone had put something on me spiritually because they were jealous of me or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was taking my spiritual bath and I felt the back of my back, the middle of my back burning 3 times. And that was my indication that someone was stabbing me in the back
Wow.
because it was a burning sensation. I never felt that in my whole entire life. And then a couple of days later, whatever was supposed to happen from what
Mm.
that person did actually happened.
Wow.
So I had to be on the alert. And other times too, messengers come to you as well. It could
Mm.
be the waitress in a restaurant. It could be the homeless man down the street. God of our own understanding will send messengers our way to say, hey, know that you're loved, or you're destined for greatness, or
Mm.
just be careful of what is taking place in your life. They will know things that no one else will know about you. That's another way to connect with spirit.
This is awesome. I love it. And I think it's the curiosity to be looking for what is the sign today. What can I receive today? I also love that you have intentional kind of mechanisms that your tried,
Yeah.
trusted, true, candle, and how the candle burns, how it responds,
Hmm.
that can help you know, is this on track or on off track? And I think everyone, we get to develop our own
Yeah.
intuitive mechanism
Yes.
that says,
Yeah.
where should I go? How do I guide myself? Guides give me direction, show me what
Yeah.
my next steps are.
And the thing about it is too is spiritual reciprocity. When you're working with energies and deities and spirits and angels and ancestors, is spiritual reciprocity.
Mhm.
I offer them things on my altar. Like sometimes I'll have a taste for something. Like one of my grandparents, she likes fried chicken. I start craving fried chicken. I know she's hungry. She wants fried chicken. Some of them want, like I have shots on my altar for my uncle and my grandfather, so they drink their Bacardi.
Mhm.
I have water on there for them. The candles, of course. Isis, I have honey and calendula, which is an Egyptian flower,
Wow.
for her to honor her in that way. So if I'm up there saying, "Oh my God, help me! I need your support. I need this. I need that,"
Mm.
there's spiritual reciprocity involved in it.
Mm.
Just like you give me, I want to give you too. So at the
Mm.
same time, I'm going to place different things on my altar for them to know, you know what, I'm respecting you and paying homage to you because I know that you're working hard on my behalf.
Mm,
So this is for you.
mm,
So I'm not being spiritually selfish. I'm being spiritually selfless.
mm.
So I'm not having my self limitless beliefs is going beyond my own understanding because they're helping me with what I'm asking for in unexpected ways. But at the same time, I have to make sure I take care of them as well. And
Mm.
that's the other part of it too.
So I hear creating a discipline of the relationship strengthening with
Absolutely.
the entities that we want to develop our connection with,
Yes,
and whether it's God, whether it's spirits, guides,
absolutely.
angels, whatever it might be.
Mhm.
As you were saying, I recognize I don't have an altar or right now a like a shrine or anything like that to
Absolutely.
build a relationship with God, and for me that's
Mhm.
like the highest source that I want to be connecting to for
Exactly.
guidance and for wisdom. So I'm like, man, that's
Exactly.
that's missing. I pray, I ask for guidance, and where
Right.
is the place, the ceremonious place where I go to
Absolutely.
celebrate, to revere, to say thank you,
Mhm.
to ask for
Mhm.
guidance, and what is the mechanism for that? And so building that, that's my homework,
Yeah.
Dillis.
And you can start as simple as getting a white candle, because white
Okay.
candle, that's for purity, that's for love, and a glass of water, which is for, making sure that God of your own understanding,
Hmm.
his spirit is always filled.
Hmm.
You're always filling his spirit. So you're honoring him in that way. Or even like a piece of fruit,
Hmm.
an orange, an apple, and you just put that together on there and you just go there and you just make your little altar and you say a little prayer.
Yeah.
You give gratitude for the things that you have, the food in the fridge, the clothes on your back, the house that you live in, the car that you
Hmm.
drive, health, your gift of sight. You
Hmm.
pray, you just say thank you for those things, and then you can ask for whatever the heck you want. But just make sure that you give gratitude first and foremost. And the other thing too that I do too is I pray for other people while I am praying. To
Yeah.
just let God of your understanding knows that you know what, I'm not only here for me, but I'm also
Yeah.
here for such and such.
Mm. Mm. And I find that energy, whether it's praying, whether it's sending good intention, whether it's just like,
Yeah.
wishing for people, sending good energy,
Yes.
visualizing, like whatever it is, like sending that to
Absolutely.
other people is so important to continue the flow, right? Because like, hey, I want to
Yes.
receive, like, here's what I'm asking for. You have to ask to be able to
Absolutely.
receive. And also, what are
Absolutely.
you gonna give to the universe, to the world,
Exactly.
to keep that
Exactly.
flow going, so it's not all pouring into you, pouring into you, pouring
Right.
into you. And also,
Exactly.
some people are probably doing the opposite, like giving, 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 intention, praying for others, but they're not asking for what they
Exactly.
need.
Exactly. And it goes around, and there's times where, and that's why the reason too, when a client buys a product from me or a client works with me, I always tell them, what is it that I can pray for you on your behalf when I
Wow.
speak to my guides, when
Mm,
I speak to your guides, what is it that I can pray for you for? What
mm,
is it that's really troubling your spirit and your soul that you need help with, that I am, as the vessel in your transformation, can actually activate on your behalf within my
wow.
power? What is it that I can do? And so that's coming around full circle, because not only am I walking in the purpose and not helping myself, because I am helping myself in a sense, but also helping the other person,
Mm,
locking arms with that person spiritually to let them know I'm here for you. I care about you. I love you. This is not just a business for me, but this is a mission. It's a purpose. And I'm doing it authentically and wholeheartedly with every fiber of my being because
mm,
I want the best for you.
mm.
And that's what it's about for me.
Dillis, you're so amazing.
You are too.
Yes, we
Look
are.
at you, got homework and all. Look at you, you got homework today.
I love
and
it.
and I guarantee you, when you once you do that little element,
Yeah.
whomever is your guide, they'll come to you.
Mm,
They will come
mm,
to you. They'll show up in so many different ways. You could be working out and you'll have an aha moment. Or you
mm,
could be watching something on TV, you'll have an aha moment. You'll feel the energy of the person.
mm.
You feel the energy of the person.
I love it. I love it. Dillis is gold. I know we could keep going on this forever and ever and ever because this is just awesome. And I want to wrap it up. I want to drive it home for
Sure.
people to take action on, to be aware of them being a spiritual seeker, and then also how they
Mhm.
can stay connected with you. What can they do to continue their journey with you? But let's wrap it up. Final takeaways. What do you want to drive home?
Sure. The takeaway that I would have is, if you feel that you're questioning life, you're questioning yourself, you're questioning your upbringing, religion, or whatever it is, and you know that there's a deeper desire within yourself, then that is you becoming a spiritual seeker. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to look other places. You can incorporate all different practices, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever the case may
Mm,
be. Do what makes your spirit and your heart feel good and go with that. Go with the flow. And when you're praying, manifesting, and petitioning, do it with trust and confidence, no doubt, no lack of doubt in no way,
mm,
shape, or form. And just allow your guides to reveal themselves to you and guide you in which direction you're looking for, and allow it to be spiritual reciprocity always. And practice spiritual work and spiritual love.
mm.
Practice those things and go through the process of your healing and just love up on yourself because and celebrate yourself every day. I have an assignment for everyone. In your cell phone, the same way you would set up a meeting, I want you to put in your phone 8 a.m., celebrate yourself, and remind yourself every single day to celebrate yourself.
Mm,
Every morning, celebrate yourself.
mm.
And so you can contact me on Facebook. I'm here. I'm the only Dhylles, Dhylles. My aunt's name is Dhylles too, but hers with an I. I am getspirituallyactivated.com. That is my website. Get
Mm.
Spiritually Activated on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere. I have a 90-minute spiritual strengthening session, as well as a 6-week spiritual strengthening session and 4-week spiritual sessions. And I'm doing different spiritual strengthening workshops. I'm actually hosting a Goddess Isis introduction workshop. So for people who are drawn to Goddess Isis, for them to come out here in Savannah, work with me. I'm going to do one online so you can get all of the tidbits that you need to connect with Mother Isis and
Mm.
other things as well. And the spiritual products and the bracelets, of course. You see them? See them?
Yes. Yes.
I make them and I add dragon's blood oil, sage. I pray over them for
Mm.
balance, protection, great energy, and manifestation, all of those things. So that's all on my website as well.
Wow. Getspirituallyactivated.com. And put that in the
Yes.
comments. And then one
Mhm.
other thing, Dillis, you have given us so much. You have blessed us so much.
Mhm.
What can we pray for you for?
Pray for me for deeper intuition and deeper discernment, and
Mm,
pray for my protection doing this work, and pray that I remind myself every day to balance, celebrating myself as well, and reminding myself to renew, to release, to recharge, to rejuvenate, and to take care of myself as much as possible, because doing this work I get so depleted
mm,
and like my energy is just shot at times. But because I'm so focused and I'm so in spirit, there's times that I totally forget about me.
mm,
So I have to celebrate myself on my phone as well. So just pray for continuous protection, continuous intuition, and continuous discernment, that it gets
mm,
deeper and stronger as time passes by, that I'm able to truly, truly be in tune with the spiritual being, having a human experience that I'm becoming.
mm. I love it. And Dillis, you know what else I'm going to pray for that you didn't necessarily say, but I just love taking people's vision and amplifying it
Mhm.
to the next level. Um, I am praying that you experience a whole new level of spiritual capacity that you could have
Yes.
never imagined, that you've never even like dreamed. It's like beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah.
And with that new spiritual capacity, newfound energetic and spiritual capacity, you're able to serve so many more people. You are just
Absolutely.
constantly filled up, being recharged, rejuvenated. You have
Hmm.
massive wisdom and discernment with your own energy, and just the things that used to drain you no longer
Hmm.
phase you. Like you're just massively connected
Absolutely.
to your source, rooted in your source, rooted in that
Hmm.
support and that guidance from your guides and from your higher self constantly, and you're able to deliver 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times what you used to be able to deliver as you be and become your greatest possible self.
And I received that 2000%, not 100%, but 2000%. I receive it. I receive it wholeheartedly with every fiber of my being. I receive it. So thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Dillis. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. You're a
Thank you.
superstar.
Love and light. You too.